I'm Cody from Goemagot, and this is the first ever Goemagot Q&A. The first question is from Raina, and she asks us, what is your favorite Pokemon? And I haven't watched Pokemon since I was a little child, and I remember being a fan of Charmander. So, there you go. The next question is, Adnan, please tell us how Goma got conceived and how that project started. Basically, I've known Dan for a while through local bands, and once I moved to his area, we're like, hey, let's start this band. So we did, and we found Matt at the university I go to, and we did an interview, and then we just started doing things from there. We were like, oh, we need a bass player, but there's not many bass players, and I was like, hey, I play bass, so I decided to do bass and vocals, and so I learned how to do both of those simultaneously from this band, and we just kind of started, and we're like, hey, let's have fun and do this, and we just kind of went from there. And let's see. The next question is from Necro Al, and he says, what is the flight velocity of an unladen swallow? And I'm not going to answer that question because I don't know if it's African or European. And Gabriel's question next is Slam. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a question, but I guess it could be. Thomas asked us a generic question. Who are some of your influences? It doesn't have to be just metal, by the way. I think influences come from all over the place with music, performing, and being in bands in general. I remember when I was younger, I used to go to local shows quite often, and the front man would always be very boring. He wouldn't move much. He just kind of stood around and was just kind of like doing what he had to do, and which is okay, but I feel like if you're in a metal band, you know, there needs to be like excitement, and you got to perform. You know, it's not just playing music. Like I really wanted to just see someone get up there and go crazy. So I kind of just was like, hey, I'm gonna do that. So I started doing that, and that's why I kind of act weird and do all this shit that I do, is because I kind of just I want to see that personally. So I do that too, and if other people like it, that's cool too. So that influenced me, anyways. I mean, there's lots of death metal bands and all types of metal bands who influenced me as well. And all of us in the band have like different types of metal that we like. We all like similar ones too. Matt's like a little bit younger than me, so he kind of got into metal a little later in life than I did. So he grew up in a different sort of time period of metal, which I think is good, and it makes things interesting with writing because we all come in from like different areas. So it ends up, we end up being able to do something a little different because we're not just all like the same person just writing. We're all like different people and collaborating and taking our ideas and just mashing them together. So that. Joshua, our friend from Canada, asks, is there a better movie than Jurassic Park? And I think there is. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll think about it, but I think there is. That's a good movie though. Orion asks us, what was the process like when shooting the video for Bigotry? Basically, we showed up and it took like 5 or 6 hours for our portion. I did the whole part of the video like 3 different times in a row, and it was shot different ways, and by the time I was done, my face hurt really bad because it's tiring. And then Matt did his portion with guitar, then I did my portion with bass and vocals, and then Dan did his portion with the drums, and then we all did ours together. And then the following week, it took about 7 hours for the acting process, which I've actually never met those actors, so that's interesting too. But they did theirs the following week, and that's pretty much it. And then we just waited for it to be edited and released it. Gabriel asks us, what inspired such crushing sound? I guess we just really like having really, really heavy parts in our songs because I like going to shows and just being like, damn, that's fucking heavy. And I like playing that type of stuff because people seem to react to it really well, especially live. So we really like having parts in our songs that are just like really, 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 really heavy because we like to see people go ape shit. Ryan asks us, when are you coming to Florida? And I have to say that I can't say too much, but maybe next year, maybe in March. We're not totally sure, but we're doing something in March. I don't know what exactly that is yet. We almost came to Florida in June, actually, on a really big tour, but that fell through, unfortunately. So, but maybe March. And our last question is from Andres, and he asks, why do you guys suck so much? How do you plan on sucking even more? And will that EP or album come out? When will that EP or album come out? We plan on continuing to do what we do, so we continually progress into a giant ball of suck. Pretty much, that's the watered down version of it. And the EP or album will come out in 2015. And that's it. Thanks for the questions, guys.